Hi, Jen Gilchrist here with another weekly Oracle card reading to support you to align with your higher path and purpose. So you'll get some next steps and just, some awareness of how to navigate the current energy in the coming week ahead. If you're new to me, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I support highly sensitive, empathic, and intuitive people who have gone through an awakening, who are working through their fears and blocks, aligning with their higher path and purpose so that they can go out and make the impact and income in the world for their spiritual gifts and higher calling. So today I want to work with the Archangel Oracles by Diana Cooper. I have so many different decks. I want to make sure I said it right. And we're just going to get a few messages and see what comes up today. All right, so this 2 cards came out. Let's look at this one. Archangel Jules, it says align with the highest, go with the flow. So definitely this is, it's that water, a couple of things, so many things start popping in, right, for general readings, but for the most part, it's like align with your highest. So just having that intention of aligning with the highest, so surrender, it's that energy of the ebb and flow of the ocean, not working against the tide, but instead working with it. Sometimes there's a pause time, sometimes there's reflection, and then sometimes there's time to take action. And so it's about just aligning with what are you feeling called today to do in order to align with your higher path and purpose. And that's a really great journal prompt. And when I do start my day with most days, what can I do to align with my higher path and purpose today? Right? And just notice what are the little next steps that come in. And sometimes it might be reflect, it could be more meditation, it could be creating space for the download. And sometimes it could be action. And sometimes in this card, I'm also feeling a level of surrender and letting go. I'm also noticing now like the energy of Atlantis. For some of you might be recalling some of your gifts, your healing gifts or psychic gifts from other lifetimes, including other star systems in other lifetimes. I'm also seeing the dolphins, which I didn't see until just now. So that's also just aligning with your joy and your bliss, right? Kind of hidden in the water there. So, and this is like almost like reminds me of your gift, but I do see healing energy in the waters. I'm just seeing we all have different unique inherent gifts that we're bringing forward, as well as our message and our higher calling, right? Which is often based on our own personal journey to some form or fashion, or just your passion, right? It doesn't have to be your story, but most of the people I think that follow me has something to do with what their own transformational journey has been. And so I am feeling a bit of just like tuning in, right? There's a little bit of a pause in this energy, but not long. It just feels like pause to make sure you're aligned with your action, even if it's just for today, maybe not even the whole day, just for 10 minutes or an hour, right? It does feel like, but it feels like action is, you're still moving forward energy, but there's a little bit of a pause, tune in, align with your joy, your bliss, and then take the action. This card says that came out with it, hone your psychic abilities, see through the illusion. So that makes a lot of sense because I was really kind of picking up on a lot of the psychic energy, healer energy, starseed energy, right? That's all people coming with their psychic and intuitive gifts, much more online for a purpose, right? To help others awaken as well. And so I see, see through the illusion. So you might be, and this is where maybe the pause and reflection could be there, right? Maybe there's a little misalignment, or maybe there's some fear, some doubt bubbling up. So it feels like that reflection is going to be important. I also kind of noticing the sun, the moon. I see bats. So it's kind of like if there's a little Klingon, or maybe not that bats are dark energy, but in this context, I'm kind of seeing like there's little Klingons of other people's energy, or even maybe entities just like kind of fluttering about that might be creating a little bit of clogging up the pathway of being able to see clearly. And so that reminds me of night, which is like releasing that illusion and allowing that sun and that sunlight to come through to clear that energy. Right, and really focusing on developing your psychic gifts and really tune inward, not looking at the outside world of the illusion of like the matrix or with what's happening right here in a reality, but really tuning in and seeing beyond that bigger vision. So let you kind of tune into that too. But it feels very much like tuning in with your clairvoyance, your claircognizance, your knowing, and just really seeing beyond if there is a mess, or seeing beyond the fear if there's fear, seeing beyond the confusion, the cluster. And it feels like this could also be creating maybe a level of distraction, or other people's energy creating the distraction, which could be slowing things up or creating, again, confusion or fear or doubt that isn't even yours, right? The next card is Archangel Raguel. Be fair in all situations, resolve your conflicts. So if you're having a conflict with anybody, sometimes, because I think last week we did talk a little bit about creating boundaries and focusing on your own higher path. People do kind of rear up against that a bit, guilt, neediness, whatever, drama. Even when we release energetic cords, like what I'm seeing is like there could be energetic cords even with people, or things, even it could be addictions, but mostly I'm seeing people. from the past, or even just spiritual energy, right? That's not aligning. So when we do that, sometimes things get a little out of whack. You get the pushback. So this is just saying, to do that. But actually, this almost feels like a conversation could need to be had. So if you are having a conflict, this is just saying resolve this and to be fair, to see somebody else's perspective and point of view. It doesn't mean that you're backing down on your position, but it does mean that you're not fight. You're not locked into the control. You're not locked into the argument. You're not locked into a position of right or wrong, black or white thinking. That looks like that keeps energy stuck. This is asking you to kind of zoom out, kind of just get grounded, zoom out and say, okay, let's have a conversation here and communicate in a fair and balanced manner. Looks like, Archangel Raguel is really great to actually help guide communication, especially resolving conflict with family, harmony, or with people in your life that you care to resolve things with. It feels more like closer ties, like family, friends, loved ones in some way. But, it could be with work and other things. And it could be with a thing, too. It could be like if you're working out your taxes or some kind of, government thing too. It could be lots of things, but majority I think is kind of like people closer to you, because I do see like this sense of like bringing in like the warmth. I just see lots of like angels and spiritual teams. So remember to call in your angels and your spirit team to help guide your communication. Raguel is really great for bringing in harmony and balance and peace. And just also for you to take a step back and just have that spiritual perspective of the larger spiritual viewpoint, so that you can communicate from that point and also hear the other person, be seen, and like hearing and seeing each other's point of view actually helps unlock it and then create a resolution that will be fair and balanced for both parties, but not if we're locked into a one-sided thinking, right? Because then the ego gets involved and it just gets locked. So it feels like it's almost like there might be a resolution at hand that could be fair and balanced for everybody, but maybe can't see it until everybody like kind of lets go and kind of works the emotional charge and gets neutral and kind of brings in that like elevated perspective, so you can see the bigger picture that's happening behind all this kind of confusion. Disillusionment is actually the word, see through the illusion. So that tells me there's some outer influence here, fear-based, that could be affecting and creating that even, you know what I mean? But then both people have to pull out of it. Yeah, it just feels like that. Archangel Zachiel, it's time for transmutation. Carry the violet flame. So if you got things going on, whip out Archangel Zachiel, works with the violet flame, also Saint Germain, right? Just working with that energy or any healing tools, really. But this is a transmutation tool or healing energy vibration that you can work with. And it does feel like also asking your angels and guides to help you with your words, help you with your seeing, help you with the whole thing of like resolving, if that's your higher good, even though you have a locked in position, you may not have to change your mind all the way, but you do got to loosen that grip on being right. Or I don't know, it just actually feels like outside influence is happening here. So pause and reflect and do all that, and then do the energy work, and then come back into the conversation or the situation that might be happening. And again, for majority, I do think it is with a closer person, but it could also be with coworkers, work, government, other things, right, as well. And then Zachiel and Arcane, I feel like Saint Germain can be really helpful to heal that energy. And then again, it kind of gives you that clarity. I'm seeing up the third eye, which is the space of your point of power in terms of seeing through the veil and seeing spiritual truth. Is a seat of your intuition where you can connect with all your intuition, but it is also the space of non-judgment. It's a space of being able to see things very clearly from a non-biased or ego point of view. So that looks like that could be needed. I feel like a lot of energy in the solar plexus is creating this in the conflict. Archangel Faith, with faith, you are invincible, believe in yourself. And so this is like carrying that light of the torch, feels like focusing on the bigger vision. Sometimes even we realize maybe it's petty even, you know what I mean? Is it really worth the strife? In some cases, you might just drop the argument if it's not worth it, right? So it's kind of, I see the violet flame is now turning into that connection with the divine and that golden light of healing, where you just surrender to the divine. Almost like you see, like putting down your shield, putting down your sword, just surrendering to the divine and to the universe, and just trusting that all is well and all will be taken care of in a fair and just manner, as you see here with this balancing of the scales. But as I go back, I could have sworn here, which card? It says develop your psychic abilities. So in this card, what I feel like sharing today would be, I have a free 4-day amplify your clairvoyance, channeling, and healing abilities. And it feels like there is quite a lot going on here. Oftentimes when we're in a spiritual growth cycle, things are kind of triggered and lit up in our field. We're taking a step into our higher path and calling. Everything kind of hits the fan. People get in our field. Like there's lots of energy around that. And so this 4-day free activation series is something you can do on your own time over the next couple of weeks if you'd like. And there's a lot of training and teaching specifically on developing your psychic skills, which is here. But also there's a lot of healing and transmutation happening, a lot of clearing of old contracts and a lot of things that might be holding you back, a lot of clearing of the fear. So it might be a really great little, if you're in a kind of larger cycle, place to actually, shift your energy into that higher alignment and spiritual perspective. So it kind of does everything, teaches, develop your skill set, and then creates a healing and an activation to elevate. Now, I do have this, something that I do run live a few times a year, but I have many students take it every time I run it live, right? So this is actual on demand, where you can do it at your own pace over 2 weeks time. So it might even be a different version than you've seen in the past. Every time you do this series, if you feel called to it, it'll hit you in a different way. And again, it might be even a different version than you've seen. So I feel like if there's some of you that have seen it, that might benefit actually from listening again. And for those of you that are new to it, you're in for a treat. I mean, it really could be a paid course very easily, but I like to keep that one open and available for everybody to really be able to utilize because it's really powerful. So that's what I have for you. I'll put that information in the description box below, wherever you're seeing this. Thank you so much for being here. Let me know how this resonates in the comments below. And share this, like or subscribe if you feel like you would like to receive more of these videos. I do them each week to help you really align with that higher path and purpose, because I know that you have a purpose, you have powerful gifts, you have a powerful message, and together we get to make ripple effects of healing and change in the world. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And we will talk again soon. Bye for now.